So one of the reasons I am team charcoal in live fire is because I believe that your barbecue should be able to do everything you want to throw at it, whether it's low and slow, where pellet grills are really strong, or hot and fast. And this is typically a limitation of pellet grills, where their max industry average range is in that 400 to 500 degree Fahrenheit range. So when Kamado Joe introduced the Pellet Joe, which has a max range of 600 degrees Fahrenheit, you guys have been asking, James, does that extra 20–30% maximum heat range make a difference over the segment leader? Well, if only we had said segment leader handy, we could do a steak head to head. That's exactly what you're in for today. Let's fire them up. Hey, I'm James from Smokin' Dad Barbecue, and I originally wanted to do this head to head on my neighbor's Traeger Timberline 850 because that's a grill that I have a personal connection with that I'll share more in a future video. But the punchline here is, after going through some barbecues and helping him research a grill, he landed on just wanting a set it and forget it grill. So that's the one he picked up, and his first cook, he beat my ribs. So I did what any normal pitmaster would do, and I dedicated the next 2 years of my life to mastering my craft until I could finally beat him. There you go, Aaron. Showed you. So since with COVID and everything, we weren't able to do that, I want to thank my friends at Dixon's Barbecue Center in Toronto for helping me make today's video possible with this Traeger Pro 575. Let me bring you up to speed on everything that's happened so far. It's really quick and easy. All we've done is fill both grills hoppers with some pellets. I'm using the exact same pellet for today's experiment. Turn both dials to their maximum inferno mode, hit ignite, and we are ready to go. So let me bring you over to where we've got our steaks. We'll season them up and get ready for this quick, hot and fast steak head to head. Okay, so for our steaks, we'll be using flat iron steaks. I just discovered these. My butcher introduced me to them last year, and I absolutely love them. Very similar to a skirt or a hanger steak, just full of flavor though. And so what I've got is my normal Diamond Kosher crystal salt, some pepper, and some garlic. So I'll take you fast forward. We'll season these up, get them ready, and we're gonna throw them on the grill almost immediately. All right, I just cleaned up really quick. So we've got our steaks on both grills. So our Traeger Pro 75 is sitting around 452 degrees, and our Kamado Joe Pellet Joe just a hair below that 600 degrees max range. So I'm gonna prioritize flipping the steak on this one first, since we are running about 150 degrees Fahrenheit hotter. Let me bring the camera nice and close, and we'll get some of that close-up action, see how our sear looks. We'll get these off, rest them, slice them, and see if we can tell a difference when we get to our taste test. So to my surprise, these steaks finished within a minute of one another, despite a 150 degree difference. And so both had that radiant heat. So if you heard me before talk about different types of heat sources, we have convection. Both of these grills have great convection. They're pellets powered by some fans. They're moving hot air. So that's gonna be pretty consistent. What the Kamado Joe I think would be a little bit different on is that radiant heat, and so that dome as well as the ceramic insert in the base feel to me, just even getting anywhere near it, like they're radiating a lot more heat. And then the last one is conduction, the meat touching a hot surface. And so it's these last two that I think are really gonna separate, if we can tell the difference. You say you eat with your eyes, and right now I can see a big difference in what our two steaks look like, but I think that's gonna be the difference maker. And so I think it cooked quicker because of the radiant heat, as well as just the higher temperature. And then that conduction, where I found versus my first steak experiment, I didn't get a great sear. Turns out, learning a lot here, old pellets were to blame for that. And so I was holding back from the max inferno mode capacity of the Pellet Joe. So this one actually has me excited to see if there's some redemption for inferno mode on Kamado Joe's pellet grill. So as you may see beside me, I've got them both now resting in foil, just so they don't cool off too quick. As you can tell from my breath, it's a little chilly here still, and I want to give them a chance to have that 10-15 minutes rest without getting too cold in the outside temperatures today before we slice them up. I'll rejoin you in a few minutes once they've rested, we've sliced them, and we'll get ready for our taste test. All right, our steaks are sliced and ready for our taste test, and I'm gonna do my absolute darndest here to give you a fair and objective taste test. But just looking at these two, they are night and day apart in terms of how they look. On one hand, we've got a steak with a nice looking crust, better than my first effort. It's looking really good. And the other steak looks like we cooked it sous vide or the microwave. Slicing into them, they're evenly done. They're both a perfect medium rare. It's gonna be hard to not have that weigh on what I'm feeling or tasting on my mouth feel when we bite into that, but I'll do my best here. So let's go ahead and dig in. So our shorter 3-piece one here is the Traeger. Let's go ahead and try a piece. So flat iron steak, first of all, if you haven't tried it, ask your local butcher for it, because it is just a really flavorful steak with no salt brine, no fancy tricks. This is still a great steak. Now, in terms of the grill itself, zero smoke. Now, I've been cooking on charcoal grills for over a decade, and so just kind of like you start off with coffee, you might like a mild coffee and you work away to a stronger coffee. Maybe someone who's never ever had smoked anything in their life might be able to detect it, but pellets running at a higher temperature aren't providing any smoke. So you're not getting any barbecue benefit here. I'm not getting any smoke, and I'm not getting any crust. It's kind of just soft. Sous vide is probably the best example, as if you cooked sous vide, perfectly cooked all the way through, patted it dry, sliced it, and ate it. I'm not a fan. I've got 2 more bites. I might add those to some fajitas or something. Let's go in for our Pellet Joe steak. It won't come through with this light, but you can definitely see we have a crust. So let's see if we can taste it. So this is why we wait to do a proper review. You guys asked as soon as I did my unboxing video, can I do a full review of Kamado Joe's entry into the pellet space? And if I would have done it day 1, and I had the bad pellets and bad information, made some user errors, could artificially land on a more negative review. We got a sear. Now, just like the Traeger, I'm not getting any smoke flavor. So running at those higher temperatures, you know, there's no wood real flavor coming in when we just went straight to inferno mode. If we wanted to add that, we would have had to do more of a reverse sear method where we put them both on their sort of minimum super smoke settings and try and get some of that smoke before searing them, which I think we could do on the Kamado Joe Pellet Joe. We could get that low and slow smoke, and we've already proven we can get a sear. The Traeger Pro 575, I'm afraid it could do the super smoke, no problem. It's not going to help with the sear. So I think the results would just be absolutely the same, if not lead to an even bigger win for the Kamado Joe Pellet Joe here, because we would get some of that smoke along with the crust that it was able to generate. Anyways, I hope you really enjoyed today's video. If you did, please let YouTube know by smashing that like button, and let me know by hitting subscribe to catch future videos. I've got a whole bunch more in store with this grill versus some of the other Kamados I have on property. You guys have been asking for some more head-to-heads, and I think there's a few really cool things that we can show off. Anyways, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I've got to go inside warm up, so I'm calling it for tonight. Stay safe. Don't be afraid to fire it up.